Hello, everyone. My name is Gian, and today we will start an all new series called Game Time, which we will be interviewing leading projects in the gaming industry on the NFT space, um, and gaming at the same time. Hopefully, it will work out. So today I'm joined by Jiho. His name is Jeffrey Jiho Zirlin, but Jiho is way cooler.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so very much for joining us today, Jiho. He is the leader of the community effort on the Axie Infinity team. Thank you, Jiho. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the invite. This is a new thing, a new series, I guess. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you will discover very quickly why I don't play Axie very much because I'm very bad at it. But maybe it's retroproducent, I have no clue. But why don't you tell us a little bit more about what's your work at Sky Mavis?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm the growth lead at Sky Mavis. Sky Mavis is the kind of core of Axie Infinity. For those of you that aren't familiar with Axie, Axie is a virtual world full of these beautiful but ferocious fantasy creatures. They're called Axies. You can battle them, you can collect them. It's kind of similar to Pokemon and Tamagotchi, but this is all happening on the blockchain. So Axies have sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. I think that we have a really strong community around the game. You know, I think you mentioned that you're not great at the battling aspect of it. That's totally okay. There's so many other ways to get involved: collecting, just being part of the community, making art. It's an entire kind of experience and social network. And so yeah, at Axie, I do a lot of the, growth related things. So community empowerment, incentive design, right? Like how do we structure our token and things like that. So that's a lot of what I do. I also, do a lot of the writing and the communication to the community and, make sure that,
Mhm.
as we grow, we're still able to maintain kind of a tight knit feel.
Of course, of course. You see, guys, the devs said it's fine to be bad, so it's fine. You guys cannot judge me. While we speak, apparently I'm being destroyed by a player here. He shot my tank. I have no clue what's happening. But yeah, thank you very much for the introduction. We have now a very solid idea of what you do. Uh, Dude, something very special about this community is how passionate they are about the project. You always see how passionate people are, and I think a huge part of that is, of course, it talks about the team and the speed of development. So you guys are doing an amazing job.
Thank you. I think it's super important to empower the community and really, I think this is all about giving more power to gamers, and I think the community really feels like it's not just a game that they play; it's a game that they own. It's a game that they kind of live through. So it's been an amazing journey so far.
Of course. So that leads to my first question. To which strategies would you attribute the current success of the project?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, we're nowhere close to where we want to be eventually long term. But it seems like Axie is doing quite well and we're growing. There's 30,000 people that own Axies right now, around 18,000 people who play each day, around 25,000 people who play each week. I would say that, it really comes down to a combination of, right, the art being great and appealing to people and kind of catching people's attention. I would also say it's, about us iterating and, making the gameplay more fun over time. Like the first
Mhm.
battle system was like auto battles. It was like very, very simplistic. We then added this new battle system, which is a little bit more fun, definitely. We'll also be making an entirely kind of ramped battle system that will be coming out, later this year. So I think, yeah, we just always try and improve the products over time, based on feedback from the community as well. I think also, like, we're very careful about the in-game economy. Like, we wanted to create a game that was fun, but also had a sustainable player-driven economy. Like, we came from CryptoKitties originally, where we met a lot of amazing people. And that's also where I met like people like Allegria, for example. But the game, the economy there, right, was like not really thought out, because they didn't expect it to be, the game to actually, reach reach many people. So we built Axie from the start with the understanding that this would be a real important economy, and that we needed to structure it well, right? So Axies cannot just be bred, endlessly, right? That there's a potion, a tokenized potion that's required to breed, right? That's just one example, right? And we've also released this governance token, right? It's kind of like our version of Whale for the Axie community. And you see that when there's a token that unites everybody, right? Everyone kind of just acts differently in a better way, I think. I think that's been our key to success so far.
So you would say a huge deal of it is nice management of or planning of the in-game economy. That's very interesting.
I would say, yeah, in-game economy, obviously constant iteration on the product and never giving up. Like, there was times during the bear market where a lot of teams would have given up or started working on something else. Like when, there were like maybe 1 or 2 new players coming each day. But we always believed that Axie would be big. And we believed in ourselves. We believed in the community. So, Axie only really started to grow a lot in the last, 9 months or so. But I think everyone in the community always knew that it was going to be huge. And it's that like kind of belief in the project that's also gotten us this far, right? I think people are just have a lot of conviction, and they understand the vision, and they feel like they're some part of something bigger. So when you have that, you don't have a product, right? You don't have a game. It's a movement. It's a revolution. And revolutions, they compound over time until you hit activation energy and something starts really, starts to compound. So yeah, I think that's that's kind of what's happening with Axie.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It has reached critical mass. I agree with your assessment. So on the iteration process, what's the upcoming feature that you're most excited about? Oh, wait. I won two games in a row, and that's the first time that this has ever happened. I think you're bringing me good luck. Thank you.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, you have a your team might have even gotten buffed, like because of the recent balancing, right? Like we balance things as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can see here it's the best team ever. Sorry, go ahead.
So basically, what is the upcoming feature that I'm most excited about? I think I'm most excited about people being able to start playing Axie without paying hundreds of dollars to get started, right? So right now, like, because Axie is so popular, like the price to buy Axies has gone up a lot, right? Obviously, there's ways to get started, like borrowing Axies through one of these scholarship programs that's kind of popped up. However, right, like we need a way for people to just start, log in with Twitter or Facebook, right? Check out the game, do a tutorial, play a little bit with free Axies, right? These wouldn't be NFTs. They wouldn't have like, blockchain rewards, or they'd have very small blockchain rewards. Yeah, like, so basically, allowing them to get a taste of the game and the universe before they make any economic decisions. So I'm really excited about that, because I know that that's going to help us grow a lot faster. I'm also really excited about Ronin, which is our scaling solution for Axie, right? So all of us were in the NFT space. We know that, okay, like gas fees are really high these days, especially on Ethereum, right? And it's causing a lot of problems for blockchain games, right? Where, okay, it's not like art. Art is like, okay, these things are thousands of dollars. You only need to buy it and sell it, right? But with blockchain games, like you might need some more transactions, like claiming tokens, like trading. Like you don't want the gas fees to be $20 on something that is only less than $20, right?
Yes,
so
of course.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, so Ronin is our solution to that. And we'll be rolling that out for Axies in all parts of our ecosystem later this year. We already have it for land and items, so you can already create a Ronin wallet and trade gas-free land and items on our marketplace. But yeah, that's also going to apply to Axies this year as well. So yeah, I think I'm most excited about things that are going to make us grow faster, that are going to make it easier for non-blockchain users to use. There are already people who are using Axie as their first blockchain application, but we need more of them, and those are the types of things that I'm most excited about.
All right, perfect. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff actually. That's great. Since you have touched on it, in case you haven't already, can you tell me a little bit more about what the Ronin wallet does differently? What's so unique about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think that Ronin Wallet is too unique. Actually, like scaling solutions, they're not too unique. What's unique is the Axie community. And Ronin is just, one small tool that will help us get to the end game. I think like Ronin Wallet, it works. It's nice. Everyone really likes it so far. I think we have around 5,000 people who have downloaded and checked it out. So yeah, I think, I think like, we'll have like social login, right? So yeah, I think like we'll upgrade it in the future. But yeah, I think it's just a part of the stack, and I think like right now it's a browser plugin. Like it might we might move away from it being a plugin or an extension. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so far people really like it.
Oh, I imagine. The thing is not paying or paying really, really low fees. That's enough to like.
Yeah. So I guess like that's the special thing, right? Is like you can, when you use it, you get 100 free transactions per day. It should be enough for everybody. So yeah, people are really excited for that, for Ronin Wallet when it applies for Axies, right? So basically, Ronin will deploy. There are two phases. Phase 1 is already live. That applies to land and items. Phase 2 applies to Axies, where we'll migrate existing Axies over to Ronin, and then you'll be able to breed, buy and sell Axies, even claim SLP and Axis tokens, that you win by playing the game. You'll be able to do all of that on Ronin without paying these crazy gas fees. So this is going to be a huge moment for Axie. People are really excited about it. The number one question that I get asked is, when is Ronin Phase 2 coming? When is Ronin Phase 2 coming? And the answer is, in 3 to 4 months is my best guess.
That's a pretty reasonable amount of time to wait for this kind of development, really. I also would say that 100 free transactions per day is way more than reasonable, and if someone is using more than that, they should reconsider what they're doing, because damn, that's a lot of time making transactions.
Yeah, there's certain ways, right? Is like, okay, maybe some people, they don't like bids, right? They don't want to get spammed by bids on all their items. So maybe it makes sense for certain transactions to have a small fee of like 1 cent, right, or a fraction of a cent.
Yes.
But yeah.
No, yeah, that makes sense to prevent spam. I'm pretty sure you guys will have metrics for this, and if it becomes a problem, you guys can definitely
iterate on it. We'll iterate on it for sure, and then it's likely there'll be like it's likely that there'll be a Ronin token as well, which the community will own a bunch of it, right? So they'll maybe even ask us, oh, like add a small gas fee for these types of transactions because they want to, they want the Ronin ecosystem, the Ronin token to be sustainable. So that's a little bit of a leak. It's not necessarily confirmed. It's not something that, I would say is said by everybody.
You promise it for us. We need it.
I would just say that it's just something that crossed my mind now as we talk about Ronin.
Interesting. You guys really like doing some tokens, right? You guys have the SLP, you guys have the AXS, possibly another one. How is the planning phase for this sort of affair? Like how does it relate to the game?
Yeah, I mean the planning needs to be done very meticulously. It needs to be done carefully. So yeah, we're currently scoping out Ronin Phase 2. Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of experience, understanding what these solutions require, what our users need. That's actually why we're building this ourselves, because we believe that we have the best understanding of blockchain games in the entire NFT space. We have been building for users in the blockchain gaming space specifically for 3 years, right? So we are the oldest blockchain game that's still running. Right? It's like, there's some collectible projects, right? And there are some companies that might be slightly older, but they're all focusing on collectibles, right? There's a lot of successful collectible projects right now, a lot of successful art projects. There's actually only one successful blockchain game, I would say. So, we're building this for ourselves because we believe in we believe that we're the best blockchain gaming team. We're the only ones who understand exactly the requirements for a blockchain gaming sidechain. So yeah, that's kind of what we're doing right now.
No, I think at the current point in time, it's a very fair assessment. Yes, I would agree with that for sure. So 888 Ethereum, 1.5 million at the time of it. NFT sale has just happened 2 days ago, breaking the record for NFT sales by quite a margin. How does that make you feel, and what do you think it says about the future?
I mean, that was an amazingly exciting day. That was a historic day. We made history. It's the largest NFT sale of all time, possibly the largest game asset sale of all time. It's debatable. I'm still kind of doing the research. I think that it might actually be the largest game asset sale of all time.
Oh my god!
Like not just blockchain. Because there have been game items that have sold for real money in the past, right? It's just never been like as easy and interesting as with blockchain technology. But we think that it might be the largest game asset transaction of all time. Super exciting. I think it just shows this, strength of the community, the conviction in the game that some people have, and it shows that this land within Axie sold for more than a mansion in the real world, right? And I think it makes sense, right? Like we're starting to live online, right? Like I'm sure there are people who live like within the Whale Discord, right? You see it as your new home.
What are you talking about? You're talking to him.
So exactly, right? So we already understand that we can't even, we're starting to these digital spaces that we inhabit are becoming more and more important. And so it seems like Axie Land is gonna, becoming very coveted, and it's becoming a social space. We had I think a very successful demo of our land gameplay in December. It only ran for about 1 week, just enough to show off what we've built. It was really interesting. I think that the future of land is digital, not physical. It's just like these days, right? It's about digital art galleries. You can't even go to a museum. So the future is definitely digital, and I think this is just a testament to that.
Yeah, this is where you could say this process would naturally be happening over time, but COVID has certainly accelerated it. And and it was actually it has actually made people need way more this kind of like digital interactions, right? So in the end, I believe it accelerated the entire process. But yeah, it's
That's a
insanely high amount of money.
huge point, right? Yeah.
Go
It's
ahead,
like,
sorry.
we were already becoming a digital society, but COVID has really accelerated this process. And it's created this need, I think, as well for digitally native incomes, right? It's like, if you can't, so many physical jobs like are going away, and there's an entire generation of people that need to figure out, what are some interesting ways to make money online. And I think, at its core, like one of the most interesting parts of the NFT space is that it's an answer to that question.
You brought in a very, very important and interesting topic. Me personally, the way that I have started on the NFT space was through playing Gods in Chain. By the time they had a functional play to earn system, and one thing that I put my mind to do as soon as I started was to see if I could make a minimum wage out of it in my country, which is Brazil. Our minimum wage is not very high, but I managed to do that, and that like it changed my life forever. So it's one thing that I have always heard about Axie is that it has created opportunity for plenty of people from countries that they have very low minimum wages to make a living out of it. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. I think it makes total sense. Gaming, the future of work is changing. Work is changing. It's being redefined. It's becoming more digital. It just makes sense that, playing video games, playing these games will become a side hustle in some places,
Mm-hmm.
even an entire income, right? I know people, right, that they play Axie at their normal job when their boss isn't looking, or when there's no customers, right? So it's not just about, oh, you can make some small income, right? It's something that is additive, right? Or, the time that used to spend, relaxing, playing games, you can now, be relaxing, but you're also kind of working, right? So it's in the middle. It's at the borders.
Mm-hmm.
It's at the borders that I think it's also really important. It's not just about people who are playing 12 hours a day and see this as
Yes,
like a job, right? It's
of
also
course.
at the people at the border and the edges. Although obviously the people playing 12 hours a day, they're really awesome. So.
Hmm. Yeah. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. There is plenty of people here who are playing at their jobs, man. And they're probably listening to this interview right now, I'm sure.
I mean, this communities like this are where it all belongs, right? Or where it all begins. So.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I have one that you kind of have touched already, and I think it's why it's an interesting question. You talk about like the economy being thought through from like the planning phase, but I would like to know, like, do you guys pay close attention to the secondary market? And if yes, what kind of information is the team trying to get?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we look at the volume. Yeah, I mean, I different team members look at different things. Like I'm, very interested in economics behind the game, and seeing what's happening. So yeah, I definitely look at the secondary market, what's happening. Uh, I think some of the things that I look at is, are there, how is the secondary market interacting with the battle meta, right? Are there certain
Mhm.
classes that are just too weak, or certain body parts that are just too weak, that are just clogging up the cheapest axes floor? Also, yeah, I think like there's this rise of the digital flex, right? It doesn't matter what watch you have anymore. It doesn't matter what car you have anymore. It matters, what is your avatar? your Twitter avatar, your Discord avatar, or your in-game avatar or in-game assets, what do they say about you as a person? Like, do they show that you're a connoisseur of rare and beautiful things? And so, that we're seeing that with the rise of Mystic Axies,
It's all
institutional
about that
investors.
mistake.
Yeah, it's all about the Mystic Axies. Like Delphi Digital came in, so like real like institutions are starting to buy these things. So yeah, and so I think I think that's also been interesting.
For sure. So okay, yeah. Usually, I ask people like, what are some of the criteria that you believe that like mainstream institutions are looking for before investing on NFTs? But it looks like for you, it's already happening.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely talk about it, right? I mean, it's still very early. So let's see. So I think obviously community is king, right? Like nobody really cares about like your promise and things that you say that you're going to do. They care about what you've done and they care about, how strong your community is, right? And like how loyal and like how engaged they are. And like, is this a movement, not a company, right? It's like nobody wants to invest in a company. People want to invest in movements and revolutions. So yeah, I think that that's what's really important, right? They look for, okay, is this building something towards an inevitable future, right? Like, people who are interested in Axie, like they believe that, okay, decentralization is key, that gaming is going to be a huge part of the future, and that the future of work is really changing. I think, and that also, like they believe in teams that have built throughout the bear market, right? Like we're gonna see a lot of teams coming into the NFT space now because it's hot, right? Because they become rich. Like I would be very skeptical of those teams because like where were they during the bear market when it was only missionaries that were building, right? Like the thing about Axie, I think, is that we're not in it for the money. We're in it to, we're not here to make money. We're here to make freedom. It's not, we don't really care about, becoming super financially successful. And it's clear because we were building through a time where, NFTs were such a small market, right?
Yes.
So it's like right now there are going to be a lot of projects popping up that they're trying to cash in on the frenzy, and I'll just say is that though to be careful about those, because it's really hard to gauge their intentions.
No, yeah, man, I agree with you. I think it's very funny because everything is so easy in the bull market, right? Like you can make money out of everything. It's like you look every day and it's like simply everything is growing, and it makes me very concerned. Like if there is should be a crash in the near future, who is going to be hanging on and like is still doing the same high quality job as if nothing have happened. And it's usually going to be the projects that, as you said, were already doing that in the first place, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, it's good. It's amazing. It's amazing that NFTs are getting like a lot of attention right now. It's definitely good long term. I would just, yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So you said you guys made a few changes to my axis, and this leads me to my next question: how to manage game balance in a blockchain or NFT game?
Yeah, definitely. So I think like, our take on balancing is that, the game should be dynamic in terms of like the battle meta. It should be very dynamic. And also like, you know, you t- we believe in vertical interoperability, right? Which is basically the idea that you can use one game asset in many different games. So one Axie might be weak in a certain game mode, like battling, but it might be strong in something else, like the land gameplay, or even a specific mini game, right? So yeah, that's the way that I kind of think about it. In terms of the battle game, which is, you know, what most people interact with when they play Axie right now, I think that the meta needs to be like, changing and evolving over time. That's what makes it fun. You don't, and also, like, you don't want people to just monopolize like certain things and just sit on those combinations. You want people to, you know, have to kind of adapt and switch it up. And that also, yeah, you know, it makes it useful to have, you know, a team, right? Or a kind of many different types of Axies, right? You don't want just people to just, you know, you don't want people to just only have 3 Axies for their entire lives. You want to encourage them to collect more. And that also helps the, you know, in-game economy, and encourages people to actually breed and, you know, interact with other parts of the game.
You basically need to produce this loop of like interest, growing interest, right, and growing demand, both from new players and from old players as well. So you can guarantee that the assets keep growing in value, but then at the same time, as you said, you need to keep things fresh, and it's good for a few changes. Is the land gameplay accessible right now?
Yeah, so basically, land gameplay, we did we had a demo, like a playable demo that was released in December. And yeah, it went really fun. It went really well. You can look up like on YouTube, like Project K land demo Axie Infinity. But yeah, we're still working on it. So right now, like, you know, you can decorate your land, you can build different resources on top of it. The next thing that we want to add is this ability to like team up with people, battle over resource nodes. So kind of like if you're familiar with like Age of Empires or like Civilization, or even Rise of Kingdoms, is kind of like a mobile game that we've been looking at. It's kind of Clash of Clans as well. So yeah.
Oh my god, man! Oh my god.
So yeah, you know, that's another thing, right? Is like, I mean, people, when they think of Axie, they think about like the current battle game, which is, first of all, just an alpha, and going to be upgraded. But yeah, we also have more games on the way, and our idea is to constantly be building more fun into these assets, and eventually we're going to allow anyone anywhere to build using the Axie SDK. So it's like, we need to decentralize like who's making Axie content too, right? Like user generated content goes really well with decentralization. Why? Because it's actually a decentralization of building on the platform, right? Mm-hmm. Who cares about decentralizing the data storage if the ownership of the project is centralized, right? Who cares about decentralizing data storage if there's only one team building on top of the platform, right? Mm-hmm. So actually, like, decentralization of data storage is maybe like the fourth or fifth thing to try and optimize for. What you want to do is try and decentralize it for ownership of the actual platform, i.e. the game. That's why we have Axis token, but also in the long run, decentralization of who's actually building on top.
Wow, that's such an interesting vision, man. Oh my god. Because when you bring like points like, yeah, we believe that the assets should be used for other things, and I have heard that in other places, but the question that always comes to my mind is, okay, where are other places and developed by who, right? So to think that you guys are having the concern to lead the way and to give the community the tools to do so, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. We'll see what happens, but you know, every day it gets more and more likely that this future is becoming more and more inevitable. So it makes me really happy.
Yeah, hopefully. Do you have some sort of expected time for the land and for those other projects that you have in your mind right now?
Yeah, so what I'll say is, so the first half of this year, the first half of this year is going to be about Ronin Phase 2 and maybe getting a beta/alpha going for the upgraded battle system. Ubisoft had really amazing things to say about that as well, so we're super excited about it.
Oh wait, what is this name drop, bro? What the fuck? Ubisoft. Damn.
Yeah, so we're part of a Ubisoft entrepreneurship program, and as part of that, they tested the new game play mode, and yeah, they really liked it, and they thought it was a huge improvement. So.
Oh wow! Whoa! Damn! Beautiful.
Yeah. No, thanks. Shout out to Allegria for posting relevant links as I share here. It's amazing height. So, anyways, yeah. So basically, first half of this year is about Ronin Phase 2, Battles V2, and then maybe we'll have a kind of an open beta for land later in the year. A marketplace upgrade is also in the works. I think that's what we're focused on for this year. Yeah.
This guy's gonna make me buy more Axies. Unbelievable! I can't believe this. My job was to interview. I don't want to go bankrupt over this.
No, there are many ways to get involved too, right? It's not just Axies. There's many different ways, but I mean, just what I would say is anyone who's interested, definitely come and hang out in the Axie Discord too. A lot of really cool people. A lot of people really overlap. Like Odin is like one of our mods as well. So I think you guys will be right at home too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I need to. Alegria, if you can give us that juicy link, that would be very appreciated.
Discord.gg/Axie, right?
So, oh my god, that's so easy. I should have known better.
We actually have a custom URL. Yeah.
Oh wait, you guys can't do that, guys. It has to be a mod. I'm so sorry. Perfect. Okay.
We're like the largest gaming Discord, blockchain gaming Discord, I would say.
Whoa, 30K members! Jesus Christ! Yeah. Oh my god, that's amazing.
I think it was just 10,000 a couple of months ago too, so it's been growing.
Yeah, I remember that number actually because I checked a couple months ago.
I remember like last year, almost exactly 1 year ago, I was talking to Allegria, and he was like, he knew that Axie was going to be huge. Like, it was like, back then, like it was kind of unclear how things were going, but he actually, like, that's one thing that I love about Axie is like the community members. They have faith in the project like all the time, and their faith inspires you. Mm-hmm. So like they sometimes have more faith than you, like then they sometimes have even more faith in the project than us, which really like helps us push forward. So
yeah, and I'm glad they did, because then you guys pushed forward. Dude, I can't believe I'm not old enough in this space, but I had no idea this was actually at first an auto battler. That's crazy.
Yeah. We've been through many different phases.
What that looked like?
Yeah, it was kind of like you just choose the position of your Axies, you choose the order of the attacks, and then you send them to battle, and then our server like matches them up, and then you can watch the battle after it happens. Even back then we had tournaments and we had teams, we had like big tournaments. Like, it's people like it because like even that mode was kind of fun because as a streamer you can just watch the battles like with your audience. So it was good times.
I think this is very interesting because what I always kind of thought was you have these NFT based games, and they have this very like this principle of non-fungibility, of like being unchangeable, but what you guys have is a community that accepts the change and is willing to go through the iteration with you guys because they clearly believe the project. and it changes a little bit on my perspective. Not changes, but complexifies it and demonstrates that community is down for change as long as it's in the right direction. And it takes a very perceptive team or a team that knows its community very well to keep pushing in the right direction. So I really commend you guys for that.
Thank you. I think it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, which is about optimizing for where you decentralize, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't necessarily need to make everything about your game immutable. If, for example, the community feels like they own the game, if right, like I think that's super important. So
yeah, it looks like it. It looks like certainly does. So okay, on the approach, how to please both investors slash collectors and players.
yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, the ecosystem does best when we just focus on making Axie the first blockchain game with 1 million users, right? Like if we do that, then everyone's gonna in the ecosystem, everyone in the community is gonna be doing really well. So everything that we do is with our sights on getting 1 million users, making Axie a global phenomenon. And if that happens, like the rest is gonna work out pretty naturally. Like I think that's the main thing that we think about. Yeah.
No, yeah, I ask this because usually you have this. You have certain spaces or certain games. For example, you can look at Magic the Gathering, depending on the formats. Like what happens is there is a conflict of interest on those who want to collect and accumulate and those who just want access. So if you have a certain meta and what's the most powerful thing is also the most scarce, often it hinders the access. It can lead to community attrition. So that was the sense of my question on how to please them both
So the
at
way
the
that I
same
see
time.
it, so the way that I see it is that there's battle Axies and then there's collectible Axies, right? So the Axies that are best might not be the most scarce, right? Or and collectible, right? Like Origin Axies, Mystic Axies, like right now they're just cosmetic or they just have a tag. It's not like they're stronger in battle. Does that make sense? So yeah.
That certainly does. Yeah, that's one way. Usually, gaming startups or if big industry really they will have metrics such as like the average revenue per user. I've heard someone from a team say that they like kind of have the average like amount of money a user can make. Do you guys have this sort of number? Do you guys know how much money people are making on average out of like farming SOPs, for example?
I mean, so it really depends, right? But I think like the way that I see it is that there's a salary or there's a basic wage of between $2 to $5 for playing Axie. It can rise or fall based on gas price and basically how good that person is at battling. But yeah, it's just something that we're aware of and we keep in mind.
Okay, interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, before I go through community questions, I have the most important question of all, because this talks a lot about your personality in particular. What's your favorite type of Axie?
I like reptiles. So reptile mystics, reptile battlers. Like I'm all about the reptiles. I think that they're going to be like dragon-like in the future as well. So I'm super excited to upgrade them in the future. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Oh yeah, dragons. All right, everyone. In case you guys have
Dinosaur.
prefer of dinosaurs, who doesn't love dinosaurs, man? Come on, everyone loves dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs as well. Okay, so audience questions. Mm, so regarding ASX, will that move to running true?
Basically, Ronin, Ronin, there's a bridge where you can just, you can deposit anything, anything related to Axie and Ronin. So
Okay. ASX is a treasury coin at the moment. Will it have any gameplay affection in time?
AXS, what is it? AXS. So
Is a
basically, the way that AXS works. Mhm. So the way that AXS works is that there will be a community treasury which goes live later this year, hopefully within the next few months. And then basically that treasury will start to accrue or gather all of the fees, like the marketplace fees, the breeding fees, proceeds from future land sales, and start spitting those out back to the Axis stakers, right? So, and obviously, Axis can be, earned by playing the game, by creating content. We'll have an ecosystem fund. We also have a play to earn fund, right? So right now, for example, you can earn access by, being in the top 200 players in the leaderboard. We'll start to, expand and shoot them out faster once staking is live. So then basically, fees will go start being spit out to this Axis stakers. So it's like kind of it really Axis is really like basically a part of the game that anybody anywhere can own. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
I think it does. Yep. Whether this game can be a role model for other games where the game project is currently experiencing an increase due to the pandemic, almost unsound games have become popular. What innovations will apply later?
I think that this game will be a city on a hill for many different game developers who are looking to get into blockchain gaming. There are so many game developers out there that lack a path forward in terms of bootstrapping a community, getting funds for their vision. Blockchain solves this. How do we know that? Well, we used to be those people. Like we used to most everyone on the Axie team like dreamed of building games, for almost our entire lives. But before blockchain, it wasn't possible. There was no way to, kind of start and bootstrap a community and start building in the open. Blockchain really allowed us to create a community to help us kind of start building like from the beginning. Right, so it's because of that these unique incentive structures that are created when you give people actual ownership. Like a simple Kickstarter like is really nothing, right? Like you're just getting some, something within the game that or merch that has no like real value. That's not actually a real part of the game. So blockchain is like better, 10x better for prospective indie game developers in terms of in getting bootstrapping a community, getting them super excited and helping them build alongside you. That's at its base the very clear benefit for blockchain, for integrating blockchain into your games. And guess what? That means that initially, right, it might not make sense for huge game developers to integrate blockchain because it does add some technical complexity, but it does make a lot of sense for indie small game developers that are priced out of the current market because they don't have millions of dollars to compete with the AAA studios and in terms of marketing and things like that, right? It's like you need to harness a community of of fanatics to compete against these huge titles, and blockchain allows you to do that.
Very, very interesting point. Yeah, for sure. Will breeding access be cheaper after running phase complete?
Yeah, definitely. Like right now, like most of the cost to do anything within the game is gas. So so yeah, Ronin will make it much easier, cheaper to do things like breed axes, list buy and sell axes, claim your SLP, everything going to be much easier.
Perfect. Question: what happened to your SDK? Haven't heard something about it for some time.
Yeah, so I mean the SDK, it's in development. We're using it. We're using the SDK to build Axie games ourselves. It's it's not necessarily ready for the public yet, but every day it gets better. Why? Because we're using it and iterating it and making it more powerful.
All right. Will you guys build something like Axie 3 into the game when it comes to Ronin?
Yeah, so basically, for those who aren't familiar, Axie Tree is a lending, borrowing platform for Axies. Right now, Axies are really expensive. Not everyone can afford them, but there's a way to borrow them. They're called scholarships. Axie Tree is basically a platform for allowing that. The problem with Axie Tree right now is that it is on the blockchain. It's very expensive to get a loan, right? Like gas is really high. So yeah, something like Axie Tree or even Axie Tree itself, I think will do really well on Ronin.
Right, perfect. Everyone wants to know about Ronin, man. I'm sorry, but it's...
I mean, I'm glad, right? Like the way that I think about layer 2s and side chains is you're not ready for it until the community is begging you for it. And everyone in the community is super excited for Ronin, and yeah, I think it's really gonna be like a watershed landmark moment.
Mhm.
The Cryptolorian says that he's begging. Nice.
When running comes, will current Axes on the marketplace listed for sale be cancelled automatically, so we don't have to pay gas for the fees cancellations? For the cancellation of the offering, I suppose.
Yes, I think so. So basically, what happened with, for example, when we migrated Axies from Loom to Ronin, sorry, when we migrated land and items from Loom to Ronin, if they were on sale, the sale just got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
And the asset was, so basically what will happen is actually it's a little bit more complicated because Axies are currently on Ethereum. So what we're going to do is basically tell OpenSea and tell ourselves, right, to basically not show the old Ethereum smart contract and not show the old Ethereum tokens. And basically all Axies will be kind of forked and replicated on Ronin. Except for those that are currently locked in smart contracts. Does that make sense? So it's a little bit more complex, but it's necessary for the future of the game. So.
Oh yeah, I imagine this is like it had to be done in some sort of way like this, right? There's no avoiding it, I suppose.
Kind of like we're forking. It's kind of like we're definitely forking them and putting them on Ronin, and then if you want, you can send them back to Ethereum mainnet.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, if you have an Axie that's worth $1 million, like you might want it to be on Ethereum mainnet, I guess.
Yeah, you could have answered with because you can,
It's a slightly higher security level, I guess. But I mean, I personally, I think I'll just have everything on Ronin.
Yeah, I suppose. Is there anything breeders should keep in mind for when Axes can evolve, like purebreds or secret classes? Oh my god, the guy's asking for secrets! Can you tell us more?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, I'm not really sure what. Yeah, purebred Axies have been like historically pretty nice, like in the meta, because there's a class bonus. So, for example, if a plant Axie uses a plant card, then there's a 10% bonus. So that's one advantage of purity, right? Secret classes, like we're definitely rethinking and trying to figure out like what secret classes look like in the future. Like right now, right, we have different archetypes, right? Like plant is kind of like tanky, but they can heal. Reptile is kind of a tanky bruiser, but so they can absorb damage but also deal damage. And aquatic is kind of they can take some damage but also they do a lot of damage. Birds, they do a lot of damage and they attack first, but they're very fragile, right? So there's different archetypes for the different classes. I think like the secret class archetypes are not really well understood or well defined, and will be well defined and well understood in the future.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. When will developers be able to request access to the SDK? How do you think at the moment?
Yeah, I would say like in 2022 or 2023.
All right.
So yeah, this is a marathon. This is a marathon. Nobody ever said that it was gonna be instant, instant, instant. But I think what we've always been very upfront with the fact that this is a decade-long movement, project revolution, right? It's not something that if something can be done in very quickly, it's not worth doing. So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like Axie, but I'm not just into PvP. What's there for me in the future, PvE wise?
Yeah, definitely. So we definitely want to make the PvE experience a lot more fun with like dungeons, even dungeons with leaderboards. So yeah, I think it makes sense. Also, like mini games, right? Like a bunch of different mini games, like even like something like Axie Chess, like Axie Monopoly, like different like little board games as well, right?
That's beautiful.
Axie Poker, and also like our own little variations on things like that. So yeah, I think the PvP is just it's something that like our early that we really wanted to build and that people really like. Obviously, not everyone likes it, and yeah. I think it's important to have like so many different things to be able to do with your Axies.
Yeah. We have seen the new art on the website. Will there be access in the game that look like that?
Yeah, so basically, we're like always looking to upgrade the art of the Axies. So yeah, that's something that we're thinking about right now. I guess the long answer or the short answer is like yes, that there will be Axies that look like that.
Okay. Will we have a yearly AxieCon convention?
Yeah, so AxieCon, like that's definitely something that we want to see happen eventually. That's would be amazing. Like obviously right now it's a little bit difficult, but yeah, I think we want to do it. Like we want to do it big. I want to think about like where it should be. Obviously it would probably be rotating each year, right? So, but I think it's important for something like that to happen.
Yeah, it's hard to promise with the current like situation in the world, right? Um, yeah, but hopefully, because this project certainly deserves it. Right? Anyone else has a question? Let me see if I missed any. Uh, I'm not sure if Alec is sure, but he asked benefits of using Sushi Swap.
Sushi Swap. Yeah, so basically, Sushi Swap has more liquidity right now than Uniswap. So if you want to buy Axis token and you don't want to buy it on Binance, then it's better to buy it on Sushi Swap, 100%.
All right.
Also, yeah. So if you own Axis already, you can deposit it with ETH as liquidity on SushiSwap and earn a very high yield. So I'm actually currently doing that right now, and I'm getting like 100% yearly return in Sushi tokens. It's not unlike ETH. So you can actually, I actually just put this. Yeah, will we see more Jiho's YouTube videos soon? Yeah. I think it's been something that I've been trying to do a little bit more in the last month. I think people like them. So yeah, I'm becoming more comfortable on camera, I guess. What they say is I have a face for the radio, but just kidding. Yeah, yeah. So getting more comfortable making these videos, and it seems like people like them. So.
Oh yeah, man. That's super cool. Definitely go for it, man. Definitely go for it. But yeah, this is going to be it for today. I have to say, you definitely brought me good luck, or it was the buffs, because I had never won as many games in my life as I did. I'm pretty sure the opponents were probably not the best, but I'm pretty proud of myself.
Hey
And
man.
yeah, I can't express enough. It was amazing having you here. The community really really loves your game, as you said. You guys are aware of how beloved the project is, and I think that's great. That's a
It
portion
means
of
so
what.
much to us. It means so much to us. Like we're just the people who were there,
Hmm.
at the right place, right time, right? This is like really a community owned thing. In the future, like, we hope to just be one of many entities building on top of Axie, right? It's like, Vitalik, right? Vitalik doesn't like Ethereum's success doesn't rely on Vitalik anymore, right? It's like he's kind of there. He's a leader, definitely a thought leader, and helping with research. But there are a lot of people building on top of Ethereum, right?
Hmm.
We also kind of envision that type of future for Axie, but obviously there's a lot of work that needs to be done to get to that point.
Yeah, but it's a marathon, and it will take time for sure. But people understand, and people will stick around, and the early adopters will certainly benefit greatly in the future.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you.
but yeah, thank you so very much for joining me. Thank you for this beautiful audience. I had an amazing time, and I will probably buy some access because of you.
Oh, yeah, nice. It's all good. Yeah, it's been amazing to be here. Shout out to Allegria as well. Shout out to Pollution for the Q Axie avatar. Shout out to Decryptolorian, everyone in the chat. Almi, um, yeah, Timmy, Zanite. Yeah, thanks so much for hanging out. And yeah, Grevinator. Yeah, there's definitely more stuff coming for you. So stay updated in the future. So yeah, much love to everybody. This has been really fun, and yeah, thanks for having me.
It was our pleasure, man. I know for you it's early because you were in Korea, but for me it's very late, and I'm pretty sure for a big portion of the community as well. So I wish everyone an amazing night, and for you an amazing day, Jiho. Thank you so very much. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.